It's on the Duck Pond. Tuesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, live. Malliard.com. Malliard.com. One more thing before we start. Let me turn it over to my friend that you may know from Ancient Aliens and The Curse of Oak Island and many other things, Robert Clotworthy.
On the Malliard Report, the views, thoughts, and opinions expressed on the show are solely those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily of Evergreen Podcasts, KillerPodcast.com, sponsor or affiliate, or any other individual or group. On the Malliard Report, the views, thoughts, and opinions expressed in the show are solely those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily of Evergreen Podcasts, KillerPodcast.com, sponsor or affiliate, or any other individual or group.
Good evening, everybody. So I took last week off. Kind of a weird week to take off for a paranormal show, take Halloween week off. But, sometimes the batteries just get to that point where you say, you know what? And I didn't have a guest lined up, and I didn't want to do back-to-back live call nights, so it kind of just worked out. But I'm telling you, I'm glad to be back tonight, because, tonight's the night to be here. I don't have many long-standing traditions with the show. Got the backdrop. It's been around forever, but it wasn't always there. But this is the staple of what we do around here. This is the linchpin. This night has been part of the show since almost the beginning. Live predictions for the next year. I can't believe it. Here we are again. Live predictions for 2023. Wow. It just seems like yesterday. It was live predictions for 2014. Or 2013. I think 2013 was the first year, so that would make that... I get confused. But anyways, we've been doing this for a long time around here. This is the linchpin. This is the show. This is the one that everybody has been waiting for. And by everybody, I mean nobody. I'm just kidding. Everybody has always had a great reaction to this show. I've had a number of great predictions, horrible predictions, and predictions sure to go wrong. But before we begin, we gotta remind people of one thing. 234-738-2552. If you haven't saved that number in your phone, go ahead, write her down. Save it in your phone, because honestly, now this is going to sound surprising. I surprised the hell out of somebody the other day. They called that number and I answered it. Not during the showtime. They just were calling to leave me a nasty voice message, and I actually answered the phone, and they didn't leave the nasty voice message. They, why do we say this? I'll say it. They fucked around and found out. There we go. I said it. There we go. So, okay. So, here we go. For those of you who are wondering on the Duck Pond, Germantown Runner has decided that tonight will be his first all-caps Washington Capitals game of tonight, and has taken the evening off. So, that means we're left to our own devices when it comes to this show. Which is pretty good, actually, because it is live predictions, and, we can get into a lot of trouble. So, what better way for me to get into trouble than not have Germantown Runner around to keep me on the tracks? So, we're going to get into a lot of trouble tonight. Our first prediction comes to us via Twitter. And like I said, the phone line is open, so if you want to call in, I'll just interrupt and come back to these written-in, prescribed tweets and messages as we go. So don't feel free to step all over them, because you can. Like I said, 234-738-2552. Like I said, call in, but I've got some filler here, some tweets and messages that people wanted on the record, but for one reason or another they were unable to bring them to the table tonight, so they sent them to me ahead of time, which is more than acceptable. And if you've got one live right now and you want to throw it up in the chat room, I'll be sure to get it on the record, because that's what tonight's all about. Getting things on the record. Most shows wait until New Year's Eve, New Year's week to do this. But I've always wanted to be first in line. I wanted to make people think ahead, challenge the spectrum, the psychic spectrum, the remote viewing, the everything we do. The future telling, Not the future telling, anyways. Back to the first message we got here. Comes from our good friend, Captain Canada, skating around the ice rink at 4:30 a.m. early time. So obviously he will not be joining us tonight. So I said, hey, you got any predictions for next year? And he says, of course, I've got one. And I think Brian Bowden will appreciate this one. Kind of simple. Canada, of course Canada, right, will become, wait for it, Canada will become more communist. Okay. That's his simple prediction for next year. Canada will become more communist. Not exactly sure how. He didn't give any details, didn't give any explanation. But we don't need any more explanation. Tonight's guest is live calls. It could be you. It could be William Pullen, who just walked in. It could be MLK author. It could be Tashima Bloob. I think I said that right. If not, I probably butchered it anyways. Or our good friend Brian Bowden. He'll probably be lighting us up. Or Geo Observation. He could be on the line here any minute too. We're doing predictions, so anybody is welcome and everybody is welcome. On screen, when you pop up, I hit answer. So if you're that asshole that tried to leave me a threatening voicemail the other day or hateful voicemail, you could call back in. I'll answer it. I mean, I did the other day. Got you good. Okay. So, here we go. That was the first prediction. Got on the record for Captain Canada. Second one also comes from our friends up north in Canada, which is kind of surprising, right? 2 predictions from Canada in a row. Waves hello up north. Keep that winter up there. But kind of very closely falls into the same vein. Comes from our friend from Paranormal Heart, Kat Ward. She is more of an astute, studied observation of this, and she says, the world, I think that's how she worded it, will become more like Fahrenheit 451. I think she said the world, or maybe it was just Canada. I should look that up. I should not misquote her. So I'm going to take a second here and run and get that message up on my phone so I can read it to you correctly. I want to be accurate in reporting this prediction because that is important. She is also working early tomorrow. She says, I feel we're getting closer and closer to the book Fahrenheit 451. Okay. So I'm putting words in her mouth when she said world or Canada. So there are our first 2 message predictions. So I think at this point, before I get into some American-made predictions, I've got to level a prediction of my own. Actually, I've got to answer a question from the duck pond first, and then I'll get into some other predictions here. The first question for me, the great prognosticator. Oh, God, there's a t-shirt. And a soundbite that'll live forever. About the UFO community. Wait. William Pullen is saying the UFO industry will continue to rule the day. Which day is that? I'm sorry, but my prediction is somebody. Now, this may not. This happens all the time in the UFO community. It never changes a damn thing. I was telling Everett, who's the one who brought this up in the chat room to start with, I could make a slew of UFO predictions, but like everything else in the UFO community, it's already been said, it's already fizzled around, it's already happened. There is nothing new in the UFO community. I could say some big name celebrity is going to get taken down in some wild scandal, and guess what? It's already happened, and guess what? They're back out selling more books. So nobody gives a flip in the UFO community about stuff like that. So that's not it. Government disclosure, I think about the late, great Jim Malliard came on this program and told me. I asked him about it, and his words echo through these headphones, even though they're not the same headphones. Every time I think about the UFO disclosure, I think about Jim Malliard saying, if the politicians told you there were UFOs, would you believe them? Let's get that up here. Let's see. I don't recognize that area code. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll recognize that area code once I hear the voice. Welcome to the Prediction Show.
Hey, Jim. How are you, man?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good. I heard you were discussing UFOs.
I am. I do recognize the voice now. Go ahead.
Excellent.
I've been trying to get better about knowledge of area code so I can kind of figure out who's calling what, and so I know.
Yes, so you're absolutely right. Anyone who has some level of interest and knowledge about the UFO topic could make predictions that would virtually 100% come true, because the narrative is the same every year. So I didn't hear the rest of your comment because I got offline to call you, but you're pretty much spot on. Yeah.
Well, the rest of my comment was I could predict a big scandal with some well-known celebrity in the UFO community, but that happens every year too. And then they rise from the ashes and start selling more books.
Absolutely.
So
you hit the nail on the head. And good night. Thank you. Take care.
Yeah, like, what is there to predict? I mean, I also said if the government came out, William, a bunch of senators, bipartisan, right? We get Republicans and Democrats, which this is unheard of, right? You get them all. Let's get them all the members. Get them in the joint session, right? And one of them walks up in front of us and says, "Extraterrestrials are real," and they all stand up and start applauding. Does anybody believe them?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's the same talking points every year. The disclosure never happens. There's always some big revelation coming down the road. It never comes to fruition. And you're right, some scandal takes place, whether it's Jan Harrison with MUFON or John Ventry back in the day, about a decade and a half ago. And the same thing. There's some drama occurs within the confines of the community, and then what happens is the UFO community has a very short memory span. They don't remember things. So
minus Roswell and
yes, yeah. So that person has some massively embarrassing indiscretion go on. Within a few months, they're back doing the circuit, selling books, and everything's hunky dory. So
how's your book? No, Jesus.
Not gonna write one. I've been asked several times to write a book, and I'm just not going to join that club. I'm not. Not that every person who writes a book about UFOs is, up Poop Creek or whatever you want to call it. But I just have no motivation to write a book now. Not really. So
I was told that you've probably heard that. I probably told you that. That's how to make that work, right?
Yeah. I think you did tell me that. Yeah. I guess the one.
Oh no, I shouldn't say that on air. Oh God. Now I'm going to be blacklisted from UFO conferences.
Outrageous, yeah.
Oh, God, it wasn't going anyways. Okay, go ahead, sorry.
I guess I could write a book about what's wrong within the confines of the UFO community, but that would be an encyclopedia. So
I was going to say, we don't have enough time to talk about all that.
Yeah, that's a long program.
And nobody in the UFO community would buy that book.
No, because if you are in any way skeptical or have any level of integrity to be able to call out what's going wrong in the community, you're blacklisted. You're looked upon as just they don't want to associate with you at all. So it's a big social club nowadays. I didn't used to realize that, but now it is.
Maybe, just maybe, we could write a book and mention all these people in it and tell them they're mentioned in it, and they'll have to go buy it. So we'll sell a few.
We could. We could. That's a logical course of action. That's where we could do that, because they would be forced to buy the book to see what did William write about me. Yeah, that'd be a good selling point.
And put the moral, and then leave that page blank.
Yeah, one way to play it. Sure. Yeah. We could. That would be a list of their accomplishments. Yeah. The actual definitive answers, and that's a blank page. Yeah.
So. All kidding aside about the UFO community, is there anything moving it? I don't want to say forward, but I guess it has to be forward because I mean, there's a lot moving it backwards.
Yeah. I guess since December 2017, when the New York Times article came out, the positive thing is that the topic's being discussed in a legitimate way, as opposed to tongue-in-cheek, as opposed to the way it was prior to that, when there was a UFO story and you heard the X-Files being behind it, and the reporters were they didn't treat it at any kind of level of seriousness. Now it is. It's discussed on different platforms, everything from CNN to Fox News, in a legitimate, grounded way. So that's in a serious way. So that's a step forward. But that's still, I guess that's about the only step forward. We still don't have any answers. We don't know what the government knows or what it doesn't know. And we're still relying on information that is, the vast majority of it is anecdotal. So we haven't really moved forward at all to this point.
What if the government isn't lying to us? I know that's a horrible thing to even say. Probably somebody out there is ripping up my conspiracy membership card right now, but
yeah, yes, possibly, yeah.
But what? We'll just play it out for a minute. What if the government actually is being honest and saying we don't know anything?
That's a distinct possibility. Sure. I've told several people that I know in person that during conversations, actual phone conversations, which is, imagine that in today's day and age. But
yeah, what is that?
Yeah, it's bizarre. No, I actually asked Don Schmidt about this in Roswell a couple of years ago. We were having lunch at Applebee's, which is a plug for that restaurant for whatever reason. And I asked him, what's really going on? And he says he thinks it's a cover up of ignorance, meaning that the government knows something is going on. They have no idea what's going on, and they're not willing to admit it.
Well, I mean,
and I think that,
I mean, it's the old poker rule, right? You got to bluff if you don't have anything.
Yeah. So I think do they have more evidence? I mean, or do they? I mean, I always say that the government/military is able to observe the skies for longer periods of time than we as civilians are able to do. So the likelihood they have videos or photographic evidence of things that are anomalous, potentially extraterrestrial, they may have more. They logically would have more than we as civilians do, but that doesn't directly lead them to having answers about it. So I don't know. I think they don't.
Okay, William. Bold prediction sure to go wrong here. I have something new. I have something new for the UFO community. Where it'll be 2023, right?
Okay.
I'm holding my smartphone. Everybody has an HD camera these days. They're wildly cheaper than they have been in ever. We're going to get a new piece of video. Kind of like the Georgia Lights, right? There's going to be another event. Now, is it going to be to that scale? I don't know. But I think we're going to get a sighting that is, relevant again because of social media. Kind of like the thing in San Francisco, but that was kind of a dud. But kind of more real than that, more UFO-y than that.
Yeah. We're certainly due for one. I mean, we had the Phoenix lights in '97. We had my memory is shot nowadays. Stephenville, Texas, in 2008. Excuse me. Since then, we really haven't had a pull up your pants, pull up a seat, and get some popcorn kind of sighting from multiple witnesses that really grabs you. Like, okay, this is a really important event. We haven't had that. It seems like we're overdue.
What about an international one, like somewhere else?
Yeah, I mean, here in the States, we really don't hear about the UFO issue, what's going on outside the confines of this country. We don't. So the majority of people in this country would be blissfully unaware if an event took place, let's say, in France or China or Vietnam, because the media here didn't really cover it. But they cover stories, in Canada and the United States, but not really anywhere else as far as the UFO topic, that is. So if an event took place, I don't know if anybody would be aware of it or wouldn't be aware of it very much. So I don't know, but we're overdue for a big event. And, your statement about smartphones, it reminds me of something that Kara Randall says all the time on his podcast. He told me in person, too. He says he's told there's 8 billion or so people on the planet. The vast majority of them have cell phones, which are basically not phones because no one uses them as a phone. They use them to play games, and each one has a camera, and each one has a recording device, a video recording device. Where are the high-quality events captured on a cell phone from multiple points of view by multiple people? We don't have that. And you would think we would at this point, but we haven't had one yet. But I think we're overdue. And when one happens, that may really get the conversation going again in a positive way, but we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Good to hear your voice, my friend. We have to get you on for a
Good to hear,
show.
man. That sounds good.
We've been talking about this for years, so, yeah.
Yes, we have, though.
You got to bug me more. I'll put it on you. How's that sound?
Okay, we'll do it to it.
Sounds good. Hey, take care.
Thanks, Jim.
Yep.
Okay, you too. Bye.
There you go. There's some UFO talk tonight, right off the cuff, because that's what we do around here. Start bringing it up, and we get a subject matter expert to call in about it. Kim is here from South Florida via Starlink and Elon Musk. Welcome. Good to see you, Kim. I'm glad you survived the hurricane. And we're going to have Kim on talking about emergency preparedness and disaster preparedness and all that fun stuff. But here we go. We're going to light it up again. Green means go. Welcome to the Malliard Report.
Thank you. It's good to be back on the Malliard Report. Greetings from Florida, Jim.
Good. Greetings from South, or you're what, North Florida, huh?
I'm in Palm County, West Palm, whatever.
So that's south.
It's south. Well, yeah, southeastern Florida.
Okay, the Atlantic side
for the most part.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, the Atlantic side. Actually, getting with what William was saying, this has happened to be a pretty hot spot right now for UFO activity. A lot of sightings. Know several people in the community have seen craft. Even my skeptical wife saw something the other day, and she just couldn't figure it out. She knows what a meteor looks like. She knows what comet is. And she said this was neither a meteor or a comet. It was the weirdest thing she's ever seen.
Was it the Tesla SpaceX?
No, it was not. That was I think it was today. I know.
Yeah, that was last night. I'm sorry. I just had
yeah.
Hey, look! I actually knew something that was relevant, folks. Look out!
Well, they've been trying to do that for a while, but bad weather and what have you. I know people that have seen the Starlink and deployed, and it looks like pearls, and it's very reminiscent of a couple of sightings in the Northeast. But yeah, I'm going to be investigating a lot of them. I've had a couple of incidences here, which surprised me, that may have been an abduction recently. Don't normally always say those things, but yes. And yeah, multiple abductions throughout my house. But this is the prediction show, not the UFO show, correct?
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, we're not talking. I mean, we are talking. It's kind of turned into a UFO show, but we're trying to keep it in the predictions lane. But
well, I don't think there's anything big or news coming from the UFOs. The government, the people that are there don't know what's going on. The powers that be that do know what's going on aren't going to let you know. There's going to be no disclosure. Welcome to reality. That's that. But getting into, you were said about Captain Canada and Cat Ward. I do something every year. I do it usually during August of the summer, though I've been doing it for the last 2 years. I was unable to do it this year because I moved, but I do a remote view of 0 to 18 months. Usually it's 6 to 18 months from that point when I'm doing it. And I've been having a hard time doing it as of late. But I did do a bunch of it, and I will tell you exactly what I saw. So these are my predictions. I predict that there are massive ships as we speak that are not ours heading to the USA in North America, both on the West Coast, the East Coast, and in the Gulf of Mexico. I've seen them. On top of that, I've actually seen what looks like mushroom clouds. And the way I see it is, if you had a map and you're looking at it standing over a desk where the map's laying down, you kind of can see everything at once. Mushroom clouds in select locations. Chicago, definitely New York, around it's either May or March 26th. I see a mushroom cloud. I've also seen details of that city pretty much burnt out and looking very much like Hiroshima. Now, I don't know if this was an incoming missile or not, or something of a dirty bomb or whatever, but I definitely have seen that before. I think one of the biggest groups in the world that people are not paying attention to, or more making fun of, Space Force, is going to be making its presence known dramatically as you will hear about a submarine off the coast of around North Carolina. It will be targeted and put out of commission, pretty complete, with a beam from outer space, which is part of the, in my opinion, Space Force. I see the people of Canada actually not going communist. I see them fighting, and I've actually seen their communist leader, Trudeau, running for his life, scared out of his mind. There will be an earth change in the U.S. It'll start by the Great Lakes. It is going to put a huge division via water or a fissure that will become like a river and cutting off portions of North America. So a lot of property from the north, where Michigan is, all the way down to the Gulf, will be now a giant, call it river, if you want. Yes, there's more, but it's not a pretty picture for what I believe is going to take place.
That's wild. I've thought about this Great Lakes thing before, too, so you're totally not off with that.
No, I a couple of maps throughout the years, people have, predicted it. It starts off as an earthquake, or a massive earthquake. And that is because under the Great Lakes, and also a part of that, what's going to trigger it is New England is literally sitting on top of a supervolcano. Like most people don't talk about it. That's going to rumble, and it's just going to start splitting. Like if you've seen an egg or a piece of ice in one of those movies where it starts cracking, boom, 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 and then it's going to separate. It's going to fall right into, I guess, inner Earth or whatever you want to call it.
Yes, I think we're due. I hate to say this, but I think we're due for something. San Francisco earthquake, kind of big shake.
Well, I predicted it for 2 years, basically, roughly about a year, if you want a year and a half, if you go the full route. But I still see a massive, call it a tsuami, hitting the West Coast. I mean, flooding it, like gone, flooding. And it kind of broaching into, Canada as well as Mexico. But basically, if you live in Arizona, you're probably going to have oceanfront property. It's not going to be a pretty sight. It's massive. It's not a joke. And here's the problem, and this is where I started to get my problems doing these things. July 4th this year, they started up the CERN reactor again. And ever since that moment, actually days prior to it, I was getting very antsy. I was like, something wasn't right. You just kind of know when things aren't right. Or if you're a parent, you kind of know, like, oh, something's going on with my kid. You just know it. And then the CERN reactor happened, and I think what really did happen is it was a couple of big experiments this time, and I do believe that there was playing around with timelines, big time, and so things were kind of being, melding between what we were on to what we're partially on now to going back to what we should be on. And quantum physics will explain this later on. I can't go through a whole course of it, but things that are supposed to happen I've noticed certain things and they've happened, but they're off by a certain point in time. So I think something's been playing around with what's going on in the world. And I don't think it's, I don't know if it's the powers that be or somebody else, but, yeah, my predictions aren't the sweetest. I wish I could tell you the world is going to be, singing Kumbaya and drinking a Coke with a smile, but it's not. And the whole thing taking place between Russia and the Ukrainians, everybody's being lied to at this point. And unfortunately, the U.S. and its allies, including NATO and especially Great Britain, are on the wrong side of this right now. They are not the good guys. And I hate saying that, but that is the truth. So I don't want to, take up all the time.
No, but I do have to ask you the important question, because we were just kind of talking about in the duck pond. Of course, we were talking about MLK eating a double Whopper without bacon, which is just not good. But we'll leave that aside. We'll leave that aside for now. You've been listening long enough, and I don't think I've asked you, so we're going to get you on the record because you haven't been on. You're just as bad as William. William needs to be on. I haven't had you back on for a while, but since you're here, I should have asked William too while he was here, but he hasn't been on, so I don't want to spoil this for him. You've been on before.
Sure.
Favorite breakfast?
Like a place to go to, or just to eat?
No, if you could go anywhere and order whatever, make it at home. What is it?
I really like good scrambled eggs, really good bacon, and homemade home fries with a garlic and paprika and a lot of oil. And there was a place in Connecticut, it used to be called Concetto's, and they had homemade toast, and everything I just mentioned was there and more. There was also a truck stop. It used to be called the Mayflower Diner. And, like, their idea of an order of eggs is like 6 eggs. It's truck stuff. And it was, and it literally at that time, and it wasn't really, probably about 10 years ago, it was really inexpensive. It was like $8. And you ate like a king. But I love getting, I love scrambled eggs. I love eggs over easy. I'm not big on the Hollandaise sauce, but I love that stuff. And really, really good bacon. And I don't normally eat pork anymore because it kind of messes with my stomach. I have discovered, believe it or not, beef bacon, which is equally as good as regular bacon.
Well, it's got to be better. It's got to be better than turkey bacon, because turkey bacon is horrible.
Turkey bacon sucks. Okay, everybody's like, "Oh, it's so much better." I'm like, no.
Maybe better for you, but taste-wise, it's...
No, it's not even better for you. It's hard, it's disgusting, it's terrible. But the beef bacon is cut from the same deli cut. It's literally the same thing. It's out of this world good. It's just like the pork side, if you don't want the pork. And I'll tell you right now, folks, I'm a meatitarian, or a vegan if you like. I will be eating meat. I am not eating any plant-based anything whatsoever. But yeah, that would be a great meal, like scrambled eggs, or you give me 3, over easies and some good toast with butter, and you could sit there. If you get good flapjacks, they're good too, but
Oh, here's a good secret for you.
Yeah, Waffle House? Is that the secret you're talking about?
No, this is a good this is a family secret that I probably shouldn't let out.
Yeah.
When I was a young lad, we'd go to the grandparents' house on the weekend for the weekend, right? And every Sunday morning, the grandfather would cook pancakes, and they would come out, I'm not lying to you, paper thin, right?
Wow. Right.
And I wondered about this for years. And then, I got old enough to start paying attention. They were made with beer.
Really?
Yes.
I'll tell you, I make, when I'm cooking, and I cook for my kids, I make Freedom Toast. I won't say French toast, but Freedom Toast. Or I'm making a pancake. I add to my mixture rum and real vanilla. And there's a product, Mark and Digger from Moonshiners?
Oh, yes. I don't know them, but I know the show.
No. I love that show. They actually have their own legal distillery. I forgot the name of it, Sugar something. Yeah. And they make something called butterscotch moonshine that is unbelievably good, Jim. So I add a little bit of the butterscotch, add the rum, I mix it in, some cream, and when I make pancakes, they're out of this world. And me personally, I like a little bit of oil on it to make it crispy. There's something about that. So, yeah.
Have you ever watched A Serious Man? I love that movie.
Serious Man? No.
I have not either, so we're both out of luck on that one, so I guess we're no out.
I haven't done anything. I'm looking to watch the latest from James Fox, the latest movie he came out with, the South American UFOs. Friendly with James, and I think he's actually one of the better researchers out there. But I haven't seen. I don't really watch much at all.
I've got a couple of documentaries in my inbox that for guests and people that want me to watch them, and the one's been in there for about 3 weeks now, and I just haven't watched it. I haven't.
I mean,
by the time I get time for me, I don't want to start watching something because I know it's going to happen.
Yeah, you know what? It's the same thing with me, Jim. Like, the minute you stop to do something and you have okay, no one's here. The next thing, the phone rings. I mean, I got to watch Motley Crue's documentary, or whatever, on Netflix, and I forgot what it was called, but it probably should have been named Tantrums and Tiaras. and then just to be the wise ass I am, because I'm tired of I'm sorry, folks, I'm tired of the woke BS. I watched Rocket Man, and I said, well, why can't that be played by a black man? and it's the Elton John story. Why? Why not? Why can't Elton be black? It goes on one side or the other side. I'm like let's throw this up and let's see what else we can do with it. So, but I don't watch. I'm not really watching much of that stuff. The cable stuff down here it's all the same thing. I watch a lot of reruns of Supernatural, which is great, but other than that,
see, I cut the cord and watched mostly Discovery Plus or YouTube.
Well, you'll see me on that Discovery Plus. You never commented, but you'll see me on there a couple things.
Yeah. If I ever
the latest one was actually, speaking of UFOs, it was season 2 of UFO Witness, episode 2.
If I ever get into the paranormal stuff, I've got to get away from the other stuff.
Yeah, you know what? You should be out golfing, Jim. It's still warm enough up in PA to be golfing.
Just way too many leaves on the ground right now.
Yeah, well,
you know that far too well.
Yeah, it's. I literally lost the golf ball no more than 20 feet from me. I saw it go in and then it just disappeared. It's like socks when you do laundry.
Yeah, it's like
bright orange ball gone. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to experience in many ways the alligator on the course. I've had a bear on the course. That's an interesting. That's a rough lie. But I'm sure the alligator on the course would be interesting. But I'll let you go and take somebody else.
All right.
Yeah, eventually. And I'll talk to you later about the abductions if you want to know more, or whatever you want me on.
I know. You're good for it. I just got to, Well, once a week it goes so fast. Everybody 10 a week. Everybody wants to be on. So.
I always wanted to get you on my show, but you're like elusive like Bigfoot. So I may just ask your wife on the show, and then I can ask her questions about you.
I was going to say you might have an easier chance chasing her down than you do me.
Yeah, pretty much. Yes. I am going to smoke my vape right now, Levi. But God bless everybody. Please be careful. And honestly, in the next 3 weeks, I put a warning out there. I'm not kidding. Stock up on food, dry goods, medicine. Something's going to take place. I don't know what it is yet. It's just there's something's going to happen.
Actually, it's
not going to be good, and it's going to be global.
Well, hang up, and I'll get to this next prediction for you. Well, this is from somebody else. So hold on. So there's Brian Bowden, and he kind of alludes to the. Give him a second to get back fired up and listening. This next set. I should probably do this. Let's get after it. DuckPawnShop.com. Okay, that was Brian Bowden talking now. Now I'm talking, so if you don't know my voice, you're not used to the show. Hi, Kim. Okay. Shifting Gears brought to you by Evergreen. Okay, there we go. I need to get better about that. Of course, I'm not going to really. Okay, so there's Brian Bowden, so I'm sure he's about ready to jump back on the stream here. This next set of predictions comes to us from Chris, the show note writer. I'm sure you're all familiar with his work. If you've read any of the blogs in the last, 5 years, they've been written by him most of the time. And he's been on a couple times. musician, talented watch collector, great guy, family man, very busy, but he took some time, again, to send me some message. He's actually probably listening, sitting there on the 405, contemplating life decisions at this point. We'll say hello to him. But he sent me some predictions, and I feel we need to read them. I feel like another staged / set of provoked riots is coming. They seem to be setting the stage, showing the election wins being mistakenly shown on TV in Arizona, armed people standing around drop off voting boxes. I said it's been bubbling for a while. Got a couple emails from the Roger Stone Defense Fund, by the way. So I feel that's bubbling too. The election is the perfect catalyst for setting it off. Did you see anything else? He also sees Twitter tanking hard, which is interesting. I'm worried about Twitter. That was one of my predictions for tonight. So Chris and me are on the same page because he knows the show well and knows me well, and he kind of stole my thunder. But I also have another one that I sent him. And this one strikes hard for us young people of a certain age and older. I sent this to Chris and he didn't reply, but I'm going to say it. I feel it in my soul. Maybe it's just my local one, but I feel this more often the case than not. There's a restaurant franchise in trouble. Which one, you may ask? And I think it's in major trouble. I don't know if there's any truth to this at all. So don't think I know anything at all. I am just going by my gut feeling and what I see. So bear with that. Now, if one of their executives wants to call in or come on in a few weeks and clear this up, that'd be great. But to my eye, to my gut, Pizza Hut is in serious trouble. Just saying it. 2023 might be it. Like I said, I have no knowledge, right? They could be making billions of dollars cash, and I could be totally off base just based on a few local drive-bys, right? But I'm just telling you, at least in my Western Pennsylvania, Pizza Hut is in trouble. MLK author is asking what the stock symbol for Pizza Hut is because he wants to do some digging for me, probably. And I have no idea. It is, well, it's part of the Yum brands, so it might not be in as much trouble as I thought it was. But I don't know. I'm just saying. I just don't know, man. I think it needs something. So maybe it needs a facelift or not a facelift. What's the other? They need to dive vintage. Is that, you know what I'm saying? Like, we all have this classic branding thing with Pizza Hut. They need to go back there. I don't know. I might be just off my rocker. But there are so many pizza options in the market. I just think they need to do something wildly different. So there's my wild, obscene prediction for 2023. As for Twitter and Elon Musk, he has laid out some things, not some other things, and I'm not sure how he's going to get from point A to point B. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't see it. I don't see the path. I mean, I see what he's saying. He wants to increase the usership and increase the the profits and all this other stuff, which is all well and great. And bringing Vine back isn't the answer. 6-second, 10-second videos aren't going to solve the problem. You think 10-second videos are going to recapture the market share you lost to Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat. I don't see it. I think the Twitter brand has made its name, right? That's the 140, 280 character messages. Stay in that lane. Of course, the problem is it's so ad-driven, right? You see ads every few tweets, and it's just, people don't want that. And I know you got to try to make money. You got to try to balance that out. People just want the tweets. They want to see what they came for. They don't want your suggestions. They don't want this. They don't want that. They want Twitter circa 2013 when this prediction show started. Now, I think there's a little debate here going on about Elon Musk, and I think it's a fair one. I mean, is he great? Is he horrible? I don't know. I think we need to dive into that some night and get to the bottom of it, because I've heard it both ways. All right, so we need to find somebody. Maybe Elon will come on and clear up the record. I think that'd be great, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't have that much swing. But I think, I don't know. I think a lot of smoke and mirrors. I think there's a lot of that going on with him. So, we'll see. Now, I'm not going to repeat what Kim said, but I will make this point, though. This point has been going around quite a bit about Teslas and other electric vehicles. Now, I'm not here to defend them. I don't drive an electric vehicle myself, and I probably won't for quite a while. But remember, the Model A, Model T back in the day, 1909, 1908, man, they were horrible too. They weren't the cars that we drive today. Let's all remember that. And these first-gen products, the Apple iPhone, isn't the same thing we have today either. We've just got accustomed to having the best every time we turn around. And it just isn't happening with this product. It's going to take development. Oh, I'd love to ask Elon Musk about UFOs. William, you need to go back and listen to the show. What was his name, guys? The CEO I had on that has a space company. Oh, I'll get it to you, William. I can't remember his name right now. So, okay, I did pull some other predictions out of the chat room. Let's see if I can get them here. I'm going to take a drink, so dead air. Geo observation. Good to see him tonight. Both Trump and DeSantis will spend 2023 dancing around the question whether they'll run in 2024 for the Republican nomination. If another potential strong Republican candidate, in quotes, Pence, question mark, DeSantis will be forced to commit one way or the other. Wouldn't that be fun? Trump versus Pence. And I think DeSantis would be smart to stay out of that mess. Way out of that mess. Way out of that mess. Tassima Blue popped up there. Everything bad from 22 to 22 will continue to haunt us. Yeah, I think we're in that point. So Brian Bowden pops up there. DeSantis is not running. Kim probably thinks he is. Paid verification status for $20 a month. I'm not interested. For Twitter. So, I guess I have to do this prediction tonight, right? I need a ruling. Do I have to predict 2020 the candidates now, or can I wait until next year? Somebody tell me if they want me to predict candidates now. For 2024. This seems way out there, folks. Somebody out there tell me if they want me to do this, because I'll do it. But I need some encouragement, because this is kind of going to be bold here, right? I mean, we haven't even had the midterms yet. I'm predicting the final two candidates for next presidential election. So, I mean, we're talking some serious stuff here. So, if you want this, we got to get some energy behind it and some, right? So, okay. Oh, I'm going to be breaking some. Tell you what, I will do it in the last minute of the show. How's that sound? You guys think you have a candidate, and I'm gonna go off the rails with you in the last minute of the show for president. What are some other things that need predicted? Super Bowl. Boy, see, this is hard because, like I said, we're a full season out. We're going to put up the LA Rams for 2024 because that'll be that next season's next year. So, baseball next year, we're going to have the New York Yankees. Brian, even if they impeach Biden and Harris, they get to pick their new VP. Sadly. Okay. Fetterman or Oz? That's coming up next week. But I find this one going to be an upset. I'm thinking Fetterman. I had a discussion with Captain Canada about this during the weekend, and he was surprised that Oz was trailing in polls in Pennsylvania. And I said, listen, Oz is the worst candidate they could have picked. He's a Hollywood elite. That doesn't work in Pennsylvania. It doesn't work in my rural western Pennsylvania steel mill rust belt town. So I'm seeing Fetterman in an upset. I don't know what's going on with the Republican Party right now. I'll be brutally honest. Picking Oz and picking Herschel Walker, I just don't know. I mean, it almost seems like we're trying to... I mean, if these... Okay, let's be honest, right? If these are the candidates we're getting to, where are the adults in the room? Where are the young people? Not necessarily my age even. Okay? But the people between my age and 70. Right? Like, I'm 38. Where are the people in that, 50, 60? Where are those people? 40. Well, I mean, why can't we turn the page from 70? I don't get it. Never have, never will. I mean, I've been campaigning on these prediction shows for a third party for a decade. Which Germantown Runner gives me credit for saying that Trump was that third party candidate. Just happened to align into a third party, or into the Republican Party. Should have been an independent candidate, but nevertheless. Money talks and people walk, and the whole shooting match, right? And I just don't know. I just don't know. I could see this coming out very split. Very split. Oh, excuse me. The House and the Senate being 50-50, 49-51. The House being split within a handful of votes either way, and nothing happening. Gridlock across the board. Complete and total crap show. Chris Olsen, you just heard his message here. Sorry for the right response. Pizza Hut is hemorrhaging in the United States. And but they're doing well overseas. I see them making a push international market and drawing down the domestic stores. Ghost kitchens will begin to surge in 23. There we go. Chris Olsen out there rocking the 405 and listening to the show. And be safe out there, brother. Okay, so I did the Super Bowl with the LA Rams, right? The New York Yankees for the World Series. What does that leave me? Hockey. I want to say this, but I know it's not true. I want a Canadian team. I want the Edmonton Oilers to win the Stanley Cup. Canada's due for a Stanley Cup, folks. I want it. I'm saying that with my heart, not with my head. What else do I got? And he's threw one more out there. We're talking sports right now. He's listening. He wants me to say that Tom Brady will retire again. Man, that's big. Geo observation throws out there, his Dodgers will coast through the regular season, and Dave Robert will manage a team so badly they will not make it into the World Series. I don't understand. I mean, I haven't watched a lot of baseball, but when I think great baseball minds, Dave Roberts doesn't cross my mind. I don't know him, but a journeyman outfielder doesn't. The old stereotypical catcher, infielder. I just, the outfielders I've met just are kind of out there. Just saying, right? Okay. How long left in the show? Be about 3 minutes. So we got a couple more predictions left. So, what else? Okay, so... I got to talk about this for a minute, right? Live Golf and the PGA Tour. The Live Golf Tour only has money for 2025. That was their initial round of funding kind of deal. If they don't get a TV deal and the whole thing doesn't come together, they're probably going to be done. So if I were the PGA Tour, I'd just tell those guys, we'll see you in a couple years. Right? Just, no. Sorry. You're an independent contractor. You made your decision. Be unpopular. I feel like I have to mention Ross Chastain in the video game move, too. You all know I'm a NASCAR fan, and that was huge. And I don't have time. I'll get you on, but I'm going to have to keep you quick. Welcome in. What's up? Hello, you there? Hello? Okay, so they hung up. Don't want to rush you, but we're running out of time. So, okay. Minute 40 left. Told you I was going to make the biggest announcement in this prediction show in the last minute. So here we are, the last minute of the show. The 2024 presidential nominations for the Republican and Democratic sides. This is big, right? I'm totally off my rocker here. Can it be? Am I really going to say this? I am. Marjorie Taylor Greene versus... Who do I want from the Democratic side? I'm seeing somebody... I don't know. I'm not seeing Biden running again. I'm not seeing Kamala Harris stepping up and doing it. I'm seeing, I don't know. I just don't know.
It's the Malliard Report. Yeah, the Malliard Report.
Hey, I want to thank you for joining us. It's been a good show tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. Take a few moments, subscribe, share, all the fun stuff. You know how to do it. I don't have to tell you. Just be ready for next week. It'll be sooner than you think.